When I was kid, before we went to bed, my parents read us kids books. My favorite story was like, weird stories. Weird story or like a big monster comes. So my parents always tell me when I don't want to sleep, so big tanuki is coming to eat you. When you arrive into the Shigaraki, maybe you will see like millions of tanukis. They have so many good luck meanings in one statue. Like a tanuki has a big belly, which means like you can eat well, and the tanuki has a big eyes, you can see forever, and tanuki has a hat. The hat can protect you from the disaster or something. And tanuki has a big balls. So which means you can have more kids. I came to the Shigaraki in like 2018. When I came back from the US to Japan, I decided to work at a residency in Shigaraki, which called like a Shigaraki Ceramic Cultural Park. Shigaraki is known as one of the 6 ancient kiln sites, so very important for the Japanese cultural history. But nowadays, like many of the business is closed because of the population and the generations. So younger generation people went to the outside, but like older generation people want to keep maintain their factory. But they are getting older. My name is En Iwamura. I am the artist, and we are at the Shigaraki right now. What I love about ceramics is the process of the making, because it's like a physical activity, right? Just like wedging the clay or like rolling the coil and piling the clay to make the shape. Before I start making art, I don't do any sketches. I just jump into the clay because clay is my, like pencil and the paper. Every layer when I pile the clay, I feel like I'm very satisfied because like the form I haven't expected can appear layer by layer. So I like the process, and this feels like my working process is like 3-dimensional doodlings. The opening the kiln as a ceramic artist is always like opening the like a birthday box or like Christmas present. But at the same time, it can disappoint me a lot. Maybe it sounds weird, but like if when I open the kiln and it looks perfect, that is also boring for me. Of course, I expected to have this finish, but at the same time, I wanted to see something beyond my expectation. When I completed my work, I feel like, oh, hey, nice to meet you first time. So that's why like every time I meet a new person, feels like everybody has a different personality. I had many different influences into my work, using some like reference from the Japanese ancient like artifact called haniwa. Contrast with the popular culture influences like manga or cartoon or like graffiti. Ceramic is one of the very important information technologies nowadays, right? If we go to the museum, we can see the old German parts or something. We can imagine what kind of culture behind it, what kind of people made these kind of decorations. Million years later, people can see my work as a real artifact. Then they can imagine what kind of culture or people behind this piece. I want to kind of play with those kind of idea of the time and the communication and the culture with my work. That's it. That's it. Why I decided to stay in Shigaraki was I realized that if I can stay this area, I can share my story with those younger generation people. And just I wanted to show them possibility of this place. Before I came to Shigaraki, I had no idea about this area. But after I came here, I found so many interesting characters. And now I feel like this place is special. There are so many individual ceramic artists living in this area, and they are existing together. Nota Shop is run by Shunsuke Kato. First time I visited his place, I realized, here in Shigaraki has so much a potential.
私の名前は加藤俊介です。ここ信楽でノタ&デザインっていうデザイン事務所とセラミックスタジオと内装設計、各種デザインとギャラリーショップのオーナーでもあります。調和を取れたバランスで自分たちのものも作るし、いいものも古いものも新しいものもミックスさせて、プレゼンテーションしたいっていうのが、僕たちの役割かなと思ってます。本当にこの町で生まれて、両親上のもう一個上の代ももともとみんな信楽でずっとみんな焼き物に携わる仕事をしてました。この町はすごいちっちゃい町なので中学校が一つしかないんですね。でそれぞれ小学校に窯があるんですよ。セラミックの窯が。で授業で図工の時間があって、その時はもう本当の信楽の土を使いたい放題で物を作れたと。でいい作品があれば穴窯で焼いてもらえたんですね。それはこの町のやっぱりそのものを作るっていうマインドがちっちゃい時からずっとあるから、で僕はここでお店したりとかものを作るのも、自分の子供がいるのでそういう子たちのためにも、そういう環境を残したいっていう思いがあります。自分がここにいるのも、歴史があってここで生まれて、存在してるので本当に大好きなね町やから、それをずっと残すためにやるしかないかなっていう。
I have seen a changing of the community in here, and I have talked with many local people. And many people told me there used to be more factory was open and active. I think the population issue is very critical in Japan society right now. Miharugama is one of the traditional ceramic family in Shigaraki. So when I go to their studio, I can see so many different aspects of Shigaraki yaki possibility, I think.
信楽の三春窯って言いますけれども、神崎嗣治です。職業は陶芸家です。僕は1950年生まれなんですけれども、僕のおじいさんが分家してここへ窯をついて、僕で3代目です。僕らの頃はまだ親の仕事を継ぐものだと思ってて、他のこともやりたかったけれども漠然と親の仕事を継がないかんという感じで、信楽町の人口に対する焼き物従事者っていうのは当然家族も含めてやけれども、そうすると4割ぐらいはあったわけなんです。それが今はもう30年ほど変わって町外へ 出て仕事をするような人が圧倒的に増えたわけです。
僕の同級生でその陶芸関係の家っていうのがだいたい10人ぐらいはいました。でもその家を継いでるのは今僕一人です。僕の名前は神崎周作です。職業は陶芸家してます。で日本で考えるとやっぱり伝統工芸ってすごいどんどんなくなっていってると思うんですね。全部儲からないからでやめてしまうとそこでずっと培ってきた技術とかは途絶えてしまうので、誰かが残していかないとダメかと思います。
で私はその焼き物とかのクラフトとアートの間の橋渡しができるような作品作りを目指しています。私の名前は増本恵子です。セラミックアーティストをやってます。三春窯は私が嫁いできたところです。私が陶芸の森に行ってた時にスタジオアーティストとして1年ほど滞在したんですけど、その時に彼がスタッフとしてそこで働いていて、陶芸の森があることで世界中からいろんなアーティストが集まってくるっていうのはすごい変え難い経験ができる。それを目指してくる人はやっぱり多いと思います。
I think the Shigaraki Ceramic Cultural Park has a very important role in this area. One of the reputation they have is they have one of the best facility of the ceramic art residency in Japan. It's nice to have a similar generation artist in the community. The Tomonari Hashimoto is one of my friends. His personality is very steady. He's very calm and just quiet. But I can see his personality through his work.
橋本智成です。焼き物を作ってます。僕にとって陶芸の森っていうのは、最初その大学生の頃に一番最初のレジデンシーで来たんですけど、きっかけとしては大学の施設でできる限界っていうのが見えてしまって、でここの施設は特にその大きな窯があるので大きなサイズの作品を作れるっていうそのことで最初きっかけとしてはそれで来たんですけど、その伝統を守るってすごい僕は大事なことだと思うんですけど、その守るっていうのは単純にその歴史古くからあったものを引き継いでいくっていうのも一つなんだと思うんですけど、時代が求めているものに応える必要はないと思うんですけど、その時代に生きてる人たちが感覚も常にアップデートしていかないといけないし、ここに住んで焼き物するってことで信楽の名前が外にいる人たちに何か興味を持ってもらえるきっかけになってたらいいなっていうふうには思ってます。
Why I love being in Shigaraki is just because, environment. Area is just beautiful. Nature. At the end of the day, I feel like, maybe I like my life. I'm interested in seeing some newer creators community happening in this area. So hopefully like I can show my studio space for the younger generation people and just can influence them. Oh, and could do this. Maybe I can do better.